And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
I have a confession to make. I have a weakness, and that weakness is definitely donuts. I love donuts. Beat up on some donut games in the past, but we have a new one here called Dollars to Donuts. This is from Crafty Games. Has some really cool pictures of donuts here, but this donut is half chocolate and half sprinkles. Gotta be honest, I would buy that donut. But let's take a look at how the game plays. It's a tile laying game. Here we go. Each player in the game is going to get 4 tiles, and if it's your first game, or you can do any game actually, just place them on top of these spots on the board. If you play, after that, you can play this anywhere on this board. You just have to place each one in a different row and a different column. So you can see there's various kinds of donuts here. It actually shows you the 4 kind of donuts here. And these, at the end of the game, donuts are going to be worth various points. Now this board is kind of a focal point of the game. And so on a player's turn, the first thing that they're going to do is they're going to buy one of these donut tiles here. Now the way you're going to do this is you spend dollar tokens if you have them. There's going to be a bag full of dollar tokens that players are going to be able to spend if they want to. Each of these is worth $1, but they also have other things on the other sides of them, which I'll talk about in a bit. So when you can pay some of them to buy one of these. So let's say I have 2, I could buy this one, and then these slide down. And if you don't have the money to buy one of these, of course you can always take the one that's free. You're then going to place this donut tile somewhere on your board. So here's my starting ones. Perhaps I'll place it like this. But the rule of this is you do not have to place it so that it stays on your board completely. You can have it overhanging if you want. So if this is the case, you'll see I made a chocolate donut, so I'm going to take 1 chocolate donut token for having made that. Let's say in the future that I'm going to try to connect these 2 donuts if possible. So let's see here. I'll do this later on a future turn. So there you'll see I made a completely sugar glazed donut, so I'll take 1 of those. But this donut here is not a complete donut. It's half frosting with sprinkles and half chocolate. In that case, when that happens, I'm going to look at the number of dollar signs that are there. So this is 2 and 3. That's 5 dollar signs. That's how many I get from the bag. Because customers are willing to pay for these really delicious, I guess, weird, strange donuts. After the player has done this, they're allowed to place one of their dollar tiles that they have if you want to. Many of the dollar tiles are simply just going to be half donuts. You can put them on the board. Others are donut holes. At the end of the game, donut holes are worth points, but only if you have 2 of them. So this chocolate, those don't do anything, but if I got 2 of these glazed at the end of the game, then those are going to give me extra bonus points. Then finally, if you want to, and this is optional, you can serve a customer. There's a row of face-up customers, and if you have the donuts that a customer needs, so Ryan, for example, wants a glazed and a chocolate, I can feed those to him. I put them on the card, put the card in front of me. That card's going to be worth 4 points at the end of the game, which is 1 point better than I would have got, because a glazed donut's 1, a chocolate donut's 2. But if, when I had taken Ryan, I also had a chocolate donut, I would have put this here, and I would have got 7 points instead of 4. So that would give me another bonus point, and you can fill them all the way up. But you can't add these donuts later on. It has to be when you get them. So you can wait till you have all 4 of these before you take the customer. You'll take that customer, put them in front of you, and then you'll put a new customer out as you continue through the game. So this is going to continue back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until the game ends. The game ends when someone completely fills up their player mat, or you run out of donut tiles. These are the donut tiles on the main board. At the end of the game, you're going to score points for the different customers that you finish. So this one here would be 14, 5, 7, 4 points that you would get for them. You also get a bonus if you have 1 of each of the 3 colors. So they come from different neighborhoods, Mount Timber, Sunset Heights, and Rose District. So I have 1 set, so that'd be an extra 3 points. And then whoever has the most of different colors, maybe I have the most of the Rose District, would get an extra 2 points. You're also going to score points for your board itself. Each empty space is going to be -1. leftover donuts that you have are going to be worth the points on them. So 5, 2, and 1. And then if I have pairs of donut holes, so these 2 donut holes are going to be worth 3 points. These 2 pair of glazed are worth 1 point. These 2 do not have a matching partner, so they're worth nothing. And whoever has the highest score is the winner. Now I have the deluxe version of this game. So first of all, this plastic insert, well, it's out. I'm not going to keep it because you have to stack all the donuts in here and it doesn't stay in. If this thing gets moved at all, the donuts all fall out. So that's nice, but not needed. But I have the deluxe Kickstarter version, so all my tiles were replaced by acrylic tiles, which I love. I love acrylic tiles. But I have seen the regular tiles. They're the same material. Here has the donuts, and they're fine. They work really well. I really like the pictures of the donuts. They're fun. I like these tiles. They're just fun to have long tiles. You don't often have a 1x4 tile that you're using in games. The game comes with a score pad to keep track of all the different points. Not really necessary. And then it has a pile of various people who are all there for donuts, and they all have a quote. This guy says, "Donuts is better than abs. I need my fix. Breakfast of champions. I'm carbo loading," okay? So they're all different folks there. And the artwork and the card quality is really well done. This is a really good quality game. Again, like I said, I have the Kickstarter version, but beyond that, it's really well done. I also like, man, the outside of the box is fine. It's a good looking cover, but I really like the inside. I almost wish this was the cover. It just looks good. I don't know. Maybe it is like donuts. I should also mention there's a solo mode here that you can use in the game, but I don't know a whole lot about that. I have not played with it. This is a very casual game that you're going to want to play with other people in that regard. It's just simple. Put out donuts, try to put these tiles in, and it's such a unique tile placement game. There's lots of games where you put tiles together and match stuff. But these 1x4 tiles are tricky. Trying to put those in there, trying to make the perfect jelly-filled donut, which is the most points, and as we all know, one of the best of all donuts, an apricot donut. But I digress. Putting those tiles in is really fun, and then pulling the, sometimes you'll match incorrect tiles to get a lot of points from the bag, pull those dollars out, and you have more opportunities. That's a really important part of the game, because getting money gives you more option to pick the longer tiles, the special tiles, but it also you can fit those tiles in and put them around on the board. The donut holes are a little boring, although they cancel out a negative point, and they can possibly get you 1, 2, or 3 points if paired up. And there's a little expansion, has a bunch of special tiles that you can throw in the bag. I found those special tiles to be okay. That little extra expansion, I didn't think to be that big of a deal. If you're going to get this, just get the base game in my opinion. But it is a solid, fun game. It's very straightforward. Put the tiles in, make the donuts, get the donuts, and then decide if you feed the customers. My joke, I always feed customers where I just give them the first 2 donuts. You don't get all those donuts. You don't need more than 2 donuts. Why are you buying more than 2 donuts? But you can also wait to try to get more points. See, feeding a customer does a couple things. If you get a lot of customers, you can try to win those majorities and get sets. But feeding a customer, each time you give them 1 more level, you get 1 extra point, which in this game really matters. A few extra points, whether you don't fill in your board properly or you take those couple extra customers and feed them more donuts, can really change things. So crafty games here, and this trio of designers, Molly, Robert, and Sean, did a good job at putting together what is a simple game and something we've seen before with a theme that we love, because who doesn't love donuts? And they made it something that still feels different. Yes, the getting donuts part and turning them in for customers and having majorities, I've seen all that before. But the way these tiles are placed in here, your second game of this is going to be different than your first. Because at first you're like, oh, I'll put these tiles, and pretty soon you're like, ah, I have big swaths here in the middle I can't even fill in now because I didn't leave enough spot to put these in there. And the fact you can hang tiles off the board is such a different concept. But it's a different concept that you can understand and have fun with. So this is a lighter game. It is a family-oriented game, a welcoming game for people to play, and it's one that I recommend you check out. So that's Dollars to Donuts. I'm Tom Vasel, and I'm going to go eat a donut. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. No. Yes. Dice Tower Judgment approved.